This because this has been bothering me. My sons and I were going through the book of Exodus, and we went through this chapter recently, and I was kind of stumped because they're asking questions, and I'm doing my best to answer them. You know, um, Obviously I don't know all the answers. I'm just doing what I've learned and what I've learned from Lex Will and Arthur and my conversations with Vince. And this is the one that stumped me. Okay, so this is after they end up leaving Egypt and they cross the Red Sea. Okay, and in verse 1, and they took their journey from Elam, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came into the wilderness of Sin. Now we know Sin is another name for the people that call themselves Chinese, right? Which is between Elam and Sinai. Now, this is what bothered me, right? Because we looked this up. Let's first go here.
Strong's H 5514, Sinai. Sinai.
Right? And we opened it up, and let's see, we were looking this up, right? And how did I do that? Because it tells you that this is the Latin term for China. Let's see. Let me pause it and see if I can pull it up because it shows you it's the Latin term for China. Okay, so that's how I just searched for it. I actually had to tell it that it means China, and it says yes. It refers to China, but look how they changed the spelling. They put an O on it, and it made me stop and wonder where. Because in my mind, I'm convinced that the Pacific Ocean is the Red Sea. If you look at the maps, China has a yellow sea above it, but that's where I'm like, all right, am I wrong there to think that the Pacific Ocean is the Red Sea? Because how do you cross over the Red Sea and you come into China? That's the part that's puzzling me. You left Egypt and you came into China. See? The word sin. Yeah, see? Can also refer in the biblical land of sin or Sinim, which some scholars believe refers to China. So that's where I'm like, okay, then where did they leave? Where was Egypt? Because now it's making me wonder, was Egypt, was it really here in America, specifically like the West Coast? And I say that because of you have Pyramid Lake in Nevada. The claims that they find more mummies in those western states, those Arizona, Colorado, and the Grand Canyon, and all that, and they take them back to Europe, and they take them to Egypt, and say, hey, look who we discovered, things like that. The Smithsonian Institute. And a verse came back to me when I was thinking about that, because I can't answer my sons because I don't know. Because they asked, well, where is Egypt? And I showed them that people of Mizraim are in Asia. They're right next to India. But I'm like, what sea could they have crossed from there? Because it's land. So, and like I said, it brought me back to that verse in Deuteronomy where it said, I will send you back, when the curses that I put upon them, I will send you back into Egypt, back into the house of bondage. You know, because I always looked at it as the house of bondage is, like its coat of arms, it's like its quote, or motto. That's what I'm saying. It's the motto for Egypt, bondage. But now I'm wondering, did they leave here and, you know, and I don't want to jump the gun because you know how I feel about Asia. I have an affinity for it. Not the people, but like the land, the way the mountains are shaped over there, the architect designs of the buildings, you know, and then the fact that like when you start looking at the map, you start seeing these places, and it's called heaven this and heaven that. I understand, like she taught us, heaven is Greek, and there's no such place as heaven, not in our, not for us. That's we didn't call it heaven, you know. Heaven is what the Greeks called it, So, but I find it interesting that all over the map you have the mountain of heaven and things like that all over there, you know, up near like the Yellow Sea. So I just want to see what you guys take is like, where am I missing the mark?